Howdy chaps, and welcome back to another fantastic video. Today is tank related. If it's not your thing, you can skip right past this one. However, tank related, I do have quite a few people who like tanks. So today is going to be doing some more work on the tank. We need to sort out the rear armour plates that used to be they were armour plates, then they were turned into dozer blades, and then they've been turned back into armour plates. So we need to tidy up where they were sort of butchered slightly and make them prettier so that they can go back on the vehicle and we can make it all perfect for Corowa, which the Corowa swim-in, which is I think one of the biggest military gatherings in Australia, is happening, starts around the 11th of March. So this thing has got to be at least externally 99% done before then. So if you know your maths, we're already into February. I don't know if you missed January, but it just went gone. So it's getting a regular on. So after work every night I've been putting in several hours on this thing. I've got to get it done. Some things are getting like details. I'm trying to do them. Eventually I will do them all, but for now let's just get it done so that it can make it and look complete. I'll give you an update first off, because it's been a while, especially with the tank levers, and then we'll get into what we're actually going to do today. Alrighty, I was just having a slight camera issue just then when I was trying to figure out what on earth I was doing. But it's okay, I've sorted it out. Now, I have some metal out being cut at the moment from Adelaide Profile Services. They actually do a pretty good job. They are currently making me this there's a splash guard that goes across there. That's been missing for a while. It really bugs me that it's not there, but it's 1 inch tall, 45 with a 60-degree angle on it. And I've got, see the screws that are missing there, I've actually got Dinky Die Engineering, which is a brilliant bloke, very clever, incredible machinist. So these are originals, but as you can see, after 80 years, they're looking a bit sad. They are hard to get, also they're hard to remove. So they're still good. I can see the nut still goes back on them, because the thread, even though it's missing, the nut will still wind on down to about where it actually, you can see right where the thread is good is where the nut was done up, which is interesting. I found that a couple of times with things that were done up, when you get them apart, where it was sort of held, the thread's fine. So I've had 10 more of these made, although I did say can you go below the height a couple of millimeters, but he's just gone flat. But perfectly honest, that is fine by me, because I can't machine them that good. So we got enough. I might need to get some more. He's pretty good. He's got these in a program now, so if I ever want more of them, he can just go in there and type them up. And I think when I ordered these, he had them just about the next day. So he's got a program that can just whittle them up in no time at all. They're about 20 bucks each, by the way. So I've got enough for the rear plate, and I think I've got some for here, but we're a couple short, and I'll need some more across the back. So I could see myself buying more of these. But on the front there hasn't been that much changed. I mean, I Loctited down the headlights finally, because actually that short little drive, they actually rattled themselves loose, which I kind of knew would happen. Sorting out my grousers. I've got 4 for front, 4 for the back. I got 16 of them. That's about all I could get together. So I'm going to put some on each corner. I think you actually need to have 5. You need 20 of them. I haven't got that many. Doesn't matter. It'll look okay. So they're looking nice. They're staying there until the tank is painted the final time. Then they'll go on. Finished up the rear bins, and they've got their oil can brackets on them. Although I'm still one fire extinguisher bracket short, but I might just buy Willie's Jeep one, which is similar, just to fill that gap. The tank is currently jacked up on this side, with the track almost completely off the ground. So I've been needle scaling the crap off the suspension and sorting out the tyres. It's going to get a birthday, and I had to make the tyres round, so I had to take off what was left of the rubber on that one, and this one was trashed, so I actually ended up having to cut the band off it completely. So that's tireless. So these wheels are the worst of the whole bunch. I can get them fixed, but not in the time frame that I want. So they needed to be round at the very least, because when they had a little bit of rubber on them, they'd be just going up and down. It would literally shake the vehicle as you were driving. It'd be like constantly going over a bumpy road, and it was annoying me, and it looked really bad. So at least when they're round and they're freshly painted, they'll be okay. I'm going to flap a disc off this lip here on this one on both sides, so it's smooth, because I reckon if I was to run it like that, it would dig 2 perfect grooves into the inside of all the tracks. So sort that out. And I've also been painting the tracks. I know they're going to get trashed about 5 seconds after it's running, but at least they're kind of, it's like putting lipstick on a pig. It's going to look a little bit better. And I added some metal here. This rear mudguard wasn't on. It was partly made, but now I've made the brackets. That's on, actually attached. Still got to sort out some issues with the air filters. Their snorkels aren't in yet, and there's a couple bolts missing, and the 2 plates on the roof of the tank are being cut at the moment. The rear armour is back off. I have to actually spread the rear plates of the tank with the porta power just to get the tank to release the plate. These were beautiful before I ran it. Now they're all turning sort of not nice. Anyway, so yeah, and probably very soon we're going to do this other rear door. And yes, we're over here. Today's task is to sort out the butchery that has happened to this plate and weld it up and shape it, make it all pretty. And might have to put some filler in these pitting grooves. So that's today's task, is get that all nice. And this rear plate's held on with those big screws, and because it's also held on with them there as well, so I'm going to need some more. Yeah, anyway, that one's on, brackets made. See what I mean? I have 4 grouses on this, so I'm going to have 4 here, 4 here, 4 and 4. I've got to do the pistol ports, those little details. Some of the stuff right at the top is going to get ignored because it's so far up. I've got to paint this track. I'm not doing anything with these road wheels. I might make them a bit prettier with a flap disc, but that's about it. I've got to sort out a couple of things inside the tank and paint it, and put the radio in and a few things. But all in all, that's about all it's going to get for Corowa. I'm not even going to do a passenger seat. For somebody who wants to ride, you're just going to have to squat or stand in the turret or sit on the top or something. I'm not going to, probably can't even do that legally. But yeah, so that's about all that's going to get. Oh, and I will be coming back through welding these up because they bug me something fierce. So, and possibly if I've got time, welding these up, because, and I've got to put a screw in here too. So I'll take this back off, put the 2 that are in there that are missing, put it back on, then weld them up so it doesn't come off again. All in all, it's coming along quite well. Yeah. So, oh yeah, so that's what they look like once they've been welded up. They actually really look exactly like rivets, and these were all welded up bolts, but unfortunately, as typical goes, when I did these, I could get them, but when I wanted to go back for that size, they only had the slightly bigger ones, which, yeah, at a quick glance you won't notice, but at least they're not bolts sticking through the side. And I changed out that rear track adjuster because the nut was all damaged on I don't know where it went. Probably went back on the shelf. And I've got to sort these out because the bottom of that keeps loosening itself. But yes, we are making really good progress. So that's pretty much an update. The coop's been making progress. I've got some radius rod brackets coming from Howard Astle. I'm really hoping they're going to rock up soon, so that I can do a video on the bottom of that and changing them, which would be probably going to be the next video. But today's video is tank related, so hopefully it probably won't be too much. It'll just be time-lapsing of stuff. But I've got to get here with the welder, tidy this up, do potentially a bit of bog work, put the missing bolts in, and just make this all pretty, because this is at eye level. It really is like right in your face, and it doesn't look the best, but considering what it looked like, it's come along a long way. And when it was on the tank, I was able to actually run the blade through the gap and sort out the top to make that shape better. But I've still got to thank my friend who gave me that, and I'm forever grateful. These don't get welded up because those are where a external fuel tank was mounted, although I'm guessing it definitely had one because somebody's cut it off, because that's the flame of an oxy torch that's done that gouge. So probably tidy that up, tidy that rivet up, and then leave those 4 holes there, because when these come from America, because it's an American tank, they had the shovel mount here and the other bit here. The first thing the Australians do is they make one of the modifications they do, and none of these mods are actually post-war, these are during the war. So anybody who thinks the Australians modified the tanks after the war, well, sorry to say, you're wrong. So first thing we do is take the shovel mount off, put it down there. It's one of the easiest ways to pick whether or not the Australians have ever been near a Stuart, is if the shovel mount's been moved. And then we put an external fuel tank here. And then on the later Stuarts, they run 2 external fuel tanks that sit either side of the turret, and then I think they don't bother about that. But with the early Stuarts and stuff, that's one of the telltale signs. So yeah, I'm going to set this up and get my welder all set up, and probably open the door a little bit more and see how hard that's going to be to weld all that back together. So yeah, in case you're wondering, building tanks is so fun. It's like the ultimate day job. It's really not. This is kind of what you have to deal with really old stuff. It's had a lifetime of neglect and you've got to fix it. And by fix it, I mean sit there and weld up every single issue and then grind them flat. A lot of the British fellas, they're getting so desperate for tanks they're pulling range racks off. Pulling range wrecks out, and those things have been blown to pieces, and they will sit there and they will weld them back together. You know, tanks that have been shot to buggery, and they'll sit there and do pretty much like that. There'll be a hole and they'll just fill it with another piece of steel and then just weld it and plug every single hole. So yeah, that's fun. Now I've got to grind it down. I don't know what the temperature is, but I'm glistening like a porn star. It is hot in here, very, very hot. Flip you around and show you what I got up to. Alrighty, I've spent quite a bit of the time. It's not been a terribly exciting video, but this is just one of the things about tank building. I put the other bolts in, welded them up. Sometimes because it's a hole, you end up with contamination in the hole causing air bubbles while you're welding, so occasionally you have to come back and just zap that up real lightly. I've spent an excruciatingly large amount of time welding and grinding that back to, well, as close as I can get it, and I've done some welding down in here, plug welding those. I did get the plate to actually sit a lot more snugger now, even though it is slightly bent. Won't be perfect, but it is tighter than it was. So this is before any bodywork, so we're just trying to get it pretty close. I didn't really want any bog on the edge because if you're not careful you'll chip it off real easy. So I really wanted the edge to be solid steel, and then I don't mind if there's a bit of filler getting all the pinholes. But yes, I reckon I've been on that for 5 hours, sweating my ring out in here, and I still look like I've made no progress. But I just thought I'd make a little video on some of the nitty gritty boring stuff that has to happen on the tank. You can actually see where the armour plate was rolled, all those little grooves in it. So I'll leave it there, chaps. When I have the parts for the coupe, I'll do a video on doing that. So see you around. I hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you on the next one.